I don't deserve what you did to me. You kidnapped a child.
And you kidnapped a man.
Hey, it's Marquette Shepard, host of More to the Story, a podcast on Glowstream TV. What you just heard was a clip from the hit NBC show Found, starring Shanola Hampton and Mark Paul Gosselaar, better known as Zach from Saved by the Bell. But in this show, if you haven't already seen, he's all grown up and just a little dirtier than Zach. Here's another listen.
Hello, Gabrielle. I'm not in the basement anymore.
He escaped. It's my fault.
I have access to everyone and everything you love.
He did it. He took my sister.
I warned you not to end us.
So I have a real treat for you. On this episode, I'm speaking with the executive producer of Found, who's also the showrunner of the CW's All American. And I'm speaking to her about how she's somewhat of a unicorn in the entertainment industry. She started out as an economist with the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? And now Nkechi Okoro Carroll is executive producer of 3 current shows, the third one being All American Homecoming, which was just canceled, but we don't talk about that. It was a great show, so we're just not going to talk. We're just going to ignore the fact that it was canceled. But what we are going to talk about is, how do you go from being an economist to an entertainment executive? I know a lot of you who are listening are probably in a job where you're like, this is fine, right? It's paying the bills, it's supporting me, it's making my lifestyle comfortable, but I'd rather be doing something else. Well, Nkechi did that thing, but how does it happen? There's always more to the story. So I caught up with her at the HBCU Film Festival at Howard University this fall, and this is what she told me.
Well, I always loved writing. I always loved entertainment. I come from a very traditional Nigerian family, so you all know what that means. Doctor, banker, lawyer. Right. So I chose banking, and I genuinely loved economics. But I wanted to work for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York because it put me in New York with New York theater. And so for a good portion of my career as an economist, I would also, after I'd done whatever economic analysis for the day, leave, go to whatever black box theater we were putting up our plays in, and we'd be workshopping them all night, running plays on the weekend. And so I never gave up on the dream. I just simultaneously worked on the dream. And then eventually one day I sort of realized I have to go for it. I have to 100% go for it. Otherwise, one day I'll look back and worry that I never really gave what was in my heart a shot. But again, traditional Nigerian writer, I was like, I can't be broke. That's not going to work.
That's not going to work
at all.
That's not what we advocate for
at all. And so I decided that while I was going to keep working, I was going to create my own masterclass for TV writing. And so I would download scripts off the internet, watch the episodes, taught myself how to specifically write for TV. I would use my vacation days while my girlfriends were in Jamaica. I'd be doing background work on set to see how on-set worked, how camera departments worked, how the different crew members worked together. And then I would borrow those crew members to shoot my short films on weekends. I would sit in the back of acting class, meet actors, ask them if they wanted to shoot a short film on the weekend. And that was how I taught myself TV. That is how I honed my voice. And eventually those short films got me my literary manager, who got me my first job. And then I quit my job as an economist.
So she hustled and put in the work, but quickly found out that New York wasn't the place where she needed to be. So Nkechi set her eyes on the wild, wild west, as in West LA. And here's what happens next.
It was shortly after 9/11. Got married in 2002. God bless my husband. We had not been married very long. And I was like, we need to move to LA. I want to write for TV at the time. And this is completely aging myself. There wasn't a ton of TV being shot in New York if it wasn't one of the Law and Orders or the soaps. And so I knew I had to be in LA. Writers' rooms were in LA. Didn't know how I was going to get in one. I just knew I had to be in the room where it happens. And God bless my husband. He's a teacher. He's like, I can teach anywhere. Let's go make the dream happen. And so we moved down to LA. I quickly realized I don't function well broke. Called the Fed back up, was like, just kidding. How about I work from here? And again, that was part of the hustle is I promised myself if I went back to work full time, that pursuing this job that I love of writing would also be a full-time job. And so that's what I did. I went back to working for the Federal Reserve out of our LA office at the San Francisco branch. And it's hilarious because sometimes you would see me in my car switching out of my work clothes because I was going to go do background work on General Hospital, switching my wig at traffic lights. A lot of people saw me do crazy things at traffic lights. And then I would land on like General Hospital or Alias or wherever I was doing background work that night.
So she's working 2 jobs. Living 2 lives is how she networked her way into making connections. But that's not how she landed her first writing role. That would come from hanging out at her son's soccer games and getting to know the other parents, one of whom helped her get her first full-time writing job on the show Bones. That eventually led to where she is today, leading the 7th season of All American, which is a huge accomplishment because most shows don't go past like 3 or 4 seasons, but it's in its 7th season. We'll talk more about that later, but found on NBC, it's on fire. And here's more about how she runs her shows. It's pretty interesting.
Can we talk about All American for just a second?
Of course.
Spencer and you know, Jordan, it's a magical cast. And one thing that I see, and I know the fans see it too, is something special going on behind the scenes. I've never been behind the scenes for people. I don't know anything about what goes on behind the scenes, but something special is going on because it comes through in the show. There's a spark when the actors are, you know, talking to each other. There's this funny scene where there's macaroni and cheese. And this is my favorite scene. And they don't know who made it, so no one wants to eat it, but it's
very
subtle.
Accurate.
It's subtle. It's not in your face, but it's funny, and you see an ease in the dialogue. So tell me about how you run your set, how you manage your boss lady empire, to whereas you're getting these special moments on All American, Homecoming, and now Fact.
Honestly, you know, we get to create magic for a living. We legitimately, like, I am a young girl from Nigeria who gets to drive onto one of the most iconic studio lots that's over 100 years old, and I get to make magic for a living. If you can't find a way to bring joy and love and kindness and respect to that work environment, then I don't know what we're doing. And so that's how I run my shows. That's what I lead my shows with. Everyone who works with me, cast, crew, staff, they all subscribe to that. They all understand we are a work family. We're bringing that together. And that's why you feel that through the shows. In the writers' rooms, people are giving up their personal stories. That mac and cheese thing was legitimately from several of our Thanksgivings. And someone's girlfriend showed up with mac and cheese. And we were like, whoa, easy.
And the girlfriend was not from the diaspora.
Exactly. So it was like, and so as we're telling those stories in the writers' room, we're like, oh, we have to do that because there's no way Coop and Spencer would ever eat that mac and cheese.
Right.
And so with stories, you create an environment where people feel comfortable sharing stories from their real lives, in addition to Spencer Pacinger's life, who the show is based on. And then that filters into the set. And because we have such a close relationship with our actors, we can have these conversations, especially when it's around more important topics such as, you know, mental health in our Black youth, or, you know, financial literacy in our student athletes who are going on to D1 careers. We can have conversations like that on the show because there's such a space of trust and respect between the actors, the writers, the crew. And I'm glad to hear that you guys feel that watching the show.
It's amazing. And then one thing I wanted to say is it's not very substantive at all. But when Spencer, not Pacinger, the NFL player who the show is based on, when Spencer does
James.
those dances, Spencer James. Okay, so the African
no,
dance,
we are not encouraging Daniel Espa here, right now, because we can barely tolerate him and all the dance moves he thinks he has. Okay,
it's getting hot just thinking about it. So Spencer and Olivia does this sexy African dance,
mm-hmm.
and then at their wedding they dance.
Mm-hmm.
So the fans probably already told you, you know, we want to see more of that. Are they dating in real life?
No, they are not dating in real life. Everyone is just very close, and they're also just really great actors.
Okay.
And so that chemistry you guys feel is a testament to Sam Logan and Daniel Ezra are phenomenal talents. And I think because they're younger, people forget, we sort of look at some of our more mature actors and we're like, oh my gosh, their skills and they're gifted and all the things. Yeah, the same goes for our actors who are young and in their early 20s and everything. Sam and Daniel are phenomenal. That whole cast is. It really was sort of magic in a bottle. And the dancing just came out because I love dancing. I'm obsessed with proms and the Black Student League fashion shows and everything. And so I'm like, oh, I get to decide what's in the show? Cool, because that's what we're doing. And so that's why there's so much dancing in the show.
Well, Nkechi, thank you so much. They're telling me to wrap. Season 7 is coming. Everybody can't wait. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for inspiring a generation of young people.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So that is the story behind Nkechi Okoro Carroll. She was lovely in person. She was glowing. I have pictures of me and her on my Instagram. If you want to take a look, just follow me and go to my feed at Marquette Shepherd. That's MarketteSheppard. And as for All American, Season 7 premieres January 29th, 2025 on the CW. I absolutely adore this show, as you probably heard from the interview, but it's going to look very different from previous seasons because 6 of the stars, including Daniel Ezra, who plays the main character, Spencer James, are not coming back. When I spoke to Nkechi at the HBC Film Fest, she said offline that there were some budget cuts to the show that the network executives had control over. And reading between the lines, that may be why the season 7 that's coming up is looking so different. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the Black girl magic that is Nkechi Okoro Carroll and how you look at her today as a huge success, which in every single aspect of the word she is. But there's more to the story. What I gleaned from my conversation with her is that she worked her butt off night and day. She did not take the poor, struggling artist route, which I am against. I feel like people should be comfortable and have income streams and be able to pay their bills in order to produce their work in comfort. And she subscribed to that by keeping her job at the Federal Reserve Bank until she got her first writing job. So if you enjoyed this podcast, then please subscribe and follow the show wherever you stream your audio. And follow me on Instagram at Marquette Shepherd for more movie news, interviews, and fun photos from my life. Thanks for listening, and check out glowstreamtv.com for more informational, inspirational, motivational content.